Hello, once again, Martin Popoff here from the Contrarians, back again with another edition of Reliving Old Reviews as a Useless Tool of Confusion. Okay, so this is kind of a special one. I don't think I've ever read this review before, but let's see what happens. So yeah, on this show, we look at an old classic album, a review in context when there really was no context other than what happened in the past, and see how this review stands up and what they could say about it back in the day. So this is a review in the New Musical Express, March 30th, 1974, of Kiss's debut album, Kiss, the self-titled debut album from Kiss, and it's written by Chrissie Hynde from The Pretenders. Chrissie was there. She met Nick Kent. She got a job there. Apparently, she wrote half-heartedly or whatever. She tried a bunch of different jobs. She was right in there on the groundswell of the punk movement. Obviously, they made a couple of absolutely great albums in the first two. I'm not crazy about the material after that. I just actually reviewed some of that recently again. But I have lots of time for the Pretenders and the Pretenders 2. I play them all the time. So this is the great Chrissie Hynde. Let's see what she has to say about Kiss, and we shall discuss as we go. Okay, so the thing that's so annoying about Kiss is that they remind me of the hundreds of bands I've trudged out to see only to end up semi-nauseated from chain smoking, bruised from catching the elbows of dancing morons, dazed from being sandwiched in between speakers, and pissed off because the music is so damn redundant anyway. Pretty interesting. Yeah, so tough gigs, seeing lots of bands, says Chrissie. Chain smoking. Yeah, I remember those days of getting the secondhand smoke. You'd go out to clubs, you'd come back absolutely just reeking of so much smoke. Yeah, it's so crazy to think that was the norm, and then now there's no smoking in clubs. Very strange. So, to say that this music is particularly redundant, I think back in the day, there was really not much like Kiss. I would say there's some Slade in them. There's some Swede in them. Some low rent Swede, which would be mud in them. And there's some Bachman-Turner Overdrive. People often don't compare Kiss to Bachman-Turner Overdrive, but I think in BTO's heavier songs, you do have a little bit of a comparison to Kiss. And BTO came before Kiss. 72, 73, 74. They're putting out lots of albums, essentially by, it's kind of all over for them by around 75 when Kiss has Alive, and they've got 3 studio albums behind them. I'm not saying Kiss is copying BTO or anything like that, but we know that they had lots of influences, and a big one was Slade. But yes, you do hear Swede in them, and you hear a certain kind of Swede in Kiss. It's the heavy hits, but the Chapman Chin early kind of standalone singles that you get from Sweet, rather than the more complex Sweet of Sweet Fanny Adams, Desolation Boulevard, and certainly Give Us a Wink. I think by that point, Sweet has kind of moved on, and they're more of a technical, higher rent version of their old selves kind of thing. So, okay, let's carry on here. By 1974, if you can't come up with anything better than a few imitative gestures, then stick to in front of the mirror impersonations. Because, boys, I've seen enough slim-hipped, jerking, painted lame, high-heeled young dudes to put me through premature menopause. Some great writing there, nice and colorful. I still kind of disagree that there's been lots and lots and lots of music that sounds like Kiss. I mean, it's fairly conservative hard rock, but there really hasn't been much of that by 1974, really. Certainly not out of America. It's not particularly bluesy. It's just kind of like melodic, big, heavy power chords, some riffing going on. Like I say, not particularly bluesy, certainly not, classical based or doomy like you might get out of the, your Deep Purples and Black Sabbaths and Uriah Heeps either. But there just really hasn't been a lot of music like this by 1974. So I don't know who all these bands are Chrissie thinks sounds like Kiss. Anyways, granted, Kiss have managed all the right riffs down, but so what? You've heard it all before. The lyrics are pretty turgid, but they've got good taste in ripoffs. Everybody's saying she's looking good, and the lady knows it's understood. Yeah, John Winston was coming up with some real classics, huh? I don't know who John Winston is. I don't know. I suppose every after eating, I suppose even after eating a can of beans, every fart is its own little self-contained composition. But perhaps I'm being too kind. Kiss is nothing more than an essay in rock mannerisms, and stale ones at that. So, it's interesting. I mean, are they, like I say, it's not particularly flashy or new or technical, but there's not much really to compare it to. Obviously, they've got the extra thing about them, which is the massive, incredible stage show and the whole look. But yeah, this is your typical, I guess, rock journalism art. Obviously, Chrissie's not a big fan of hard rock, because if you were a big fan of hard rock, your tolerance for the Kiss album would be higher. I remember getting this as a new release and thinking it was a pretty darn good album. It fit right in with my Nazareth and BTO and Deep Purple albums. And we had Montrose by this time. We had Sweet by this time. So yeah, it was good. It was wall to wall, pretty much fairly heavy music. But yeah, you're getting the idea here that her tolerance for hard rock and heavy metal isn't particularly high, so it's got to be really impressive to impress her. So pretty cool. A review from Chrissie Hynde, Hynd, no E on the end, from the New Musical Express. This has been another Reliving Old Reviews is a useless tool of confusion. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Chrissie's review, what you think of my review of Chrissie's review. And yeah, keep checking out the other ones. We've got dozens of these that we've done. They're all short. They don't take a lot of time. But yeah, check them out. Keep this thing going. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Join our Patreon. You can get on our panels if you do that as well. We've got a lot of panel shows all the time. So, yeah, there you go. Go play some Kiss.